Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Web ROI website return on investment tip of the week for June 16th, 2020. Before COVID, Shopify predicted e-commerce sales would reach $4.9 trillion by the end of 2021. And B2B e-commerce sales was projected to reach 6.6 trillion by the end of this year. NASDAQ predicted that by 2020, up to 95% of all shopping will be facilitated by e-commerce. Perhaps you've been thinking about using e-commerce for your business in some way, or maybe you just aren't sure if e-commerce would even work for your industry. The fact is, if you're taking payment for a product or service, you might find that your business operation can be much more efficient by processing payments through e-commerce and implementing online processes to simplify your business processes and amplify your capacity. So today I've invited Denise Bowen, our Managing Director, to share her expertise with us. Welcome, Denise, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
So Denise, what would you say are the most common e-commerce platforms that businesses can choose from?
So there's a variety of platforms out there. For us, definitely the most common is WooCommerce. That is because we build most of our sites on WordPress, and WooCommerce works the best with that. However, as you mentioned, Shopify has really taken off this year. Shopify is a simple, user-friendly platform. So Shopify has a large stake in the game. Squarespace and Wix are similar to Shopify in the simplicity of them. However, there's other bigger, complex ones like BigCommerce or Magento out there as well. So a large variety to choose from, kind of all depends on what you need and what you're looking for.
So if someone has a retail or service business, what questions should they be asking to help them select which platform is the best for them?
So the very first question I ask is kind of to envision what is your long-term goal or what is your long-term vision of the website. It's easier to know that ahead of time so that you can build it right from the start. It doesn't mean that right at the beginning you have to implement everything, but you can have the foundation set up on the right platform. Then it's easier to expand and add on as you see it suiting your business. So that'll be kind of the first thing is what's your goal and what's kind of your longer term plan with this. And then there's things to consider like the number of products you have, how you plan to fulfill the orders. So if you're going to be delivering them yourself, if you're going to be using a shipping platform like Canada Post or UPS. So looking at that, any sort of customization that you're going to need. So are your products only available on certain days? Are you shipping out only on certain days? The availability of your products. So how often your product turnover is. So is this something that you need to be updating yourself if you constantly have a turnover of new products coming in? Do you need it to integrate with your current POS so that you don't display incorrect inventory online if you don't have the inventory in store? So starting to think about how it's going to work as a unit within your current business is really important by kind of going through some of those questions, and then that'll help decide on which platform is probably best to move forward.
Would you say it's easy to add e-commerce to an existing website?
Everything's easy. So depending on the site, then yes, if you already have a product catalog or if some of your products are already displayed, then absolutely, if you're looking to just add the payment and the shipping gateway, that makes it easier. You could always continue to expand too. So if you wanted to start with a smaller product set, that's an option. And then there's always the option of putting a shop site as separate from your current site and then integrating them that way. So depending on your site, but there's always options and it's always doable.
And what are some of the limitations that various platforms would have that companies should watch out for?
So each platform will have its own pros and cons. So it's definitely just making sure whoever is going to be doing your website is comfortable with your platform. That should be the number one. And then something to consider is some of the more user-friendly do-it-yourself platforms like the Shopify we talked about. They're not always set up the best for search engine optimization. So there is some limitations there. However, some of the larger, more complex ones then often need a developer to make the changes or have it set up for you. So again, it's going back to your needs and how you see it set up. There is pros and cons that you'll want to discuss for each platform.
How can businesses make sure that they are providing a safe and secure online shopping experience?
So to have a secure shop or an e-commerce, you always need to have a payment gateway. websites shouldn't store any sort of credit card information. So you definitely need that third party to facilitate the transaction from your customer's bank into yours. And that's the number one way it works and how it's the most secure, is that you're not actually facilitating the transaction. You use a third party payment gateway.
And what is one mistake that you've seen, and what recommendations would you have to help business owners navigate around making those mistakes?
Probably the biggest mistake that I've seen is not paying attention enough to user experience. So it's common for a business to focus on making the site work for them and wanting to make sure it covers their business operations. But it's really important to take a step back and look at it from a user perspective to make sure it's clear what you want them to do. In this case, to make a purchase in the fewest steps possible. So it needs to be really easy to navigate, accessible, just ultimately extremely user-friendly. The more user-friendly your site is and the easier it is for a customer to make a purchase, the more likely it is that they'll actually make that purchase. So just viewing it from a user and not focusing it on from the business side.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for spending your time with us today, Denise, and sharing your expertise. Thank you to the audience for taking the time to listen in today. If you'd like to book a free consultation to discuss the possibilities of implementing e-commerce for your business, you can follow the link into my calendar in this email, or you can just email me directly at jason@webroi.ca. Thank you again, and have a great week, everyone.